Hey gamers, welcome back to my channel. Now I've come to realize that I haven't actually covered a lot of Switch 2 stuff, after it was announced, like every other YouTuber, and that's honestly because I don't really think there's much to say that hasn't already been said, I don't really have much to say about the games besides, oh, they look cool, the console, oh, it's nice to have the power, the pricing, it sucks, I basically have said like a lot of the same stuff as other people. Not to say I haven't talked about it on the channel, I have, but not as much as other people. But there is one thing that happened like a week ago, and I've been meaning to cover it, but now is a good time because why not? And that being about achievements and how Nintendo says they're not going to be happening for Switch 2. And I kind of want to complain about it because it's really, really dumb. So yeah, let's just get right into it. So this information comes from Polygon, which they asked Bill Trennan, who is the Vice President of Player and Product Experience. You might remember Bill from the skits he did with Reggie, where Reggie was like, Bill, like that. In fact, I didn't even know he was still around at Nintendo. So yeah, Polygon, they asked him if they were going to have achievements for Switch 2, and he just straight up said nope. Like that's it. Nope. Usually with, interviews at Nintendo, they like try to dance around the answer to be like, oh, maybe, or, like they like kind of tiptoe around. That's what they did with the Hall Effect joysticks thing. Someone asked Nintendo, and they basically said no, but they gave like a really long roundabout answer to it. But this time it was completely different. Bill just said nope. And it's just honestly so annoying. Now, that's not to say that there's no achievements at all for Switch 2. In fact, oh, by the way, I'm looking at a same Polygon article where they announced this thing. Anyway, the Switch 2 versions of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, they actually do have achievements, but on the stupid phone app. So you will earn medals on the Switch phone app, where you do things like travel long distances or collect a large number of rupees. They will be tracked inside the Zelda Notes part, and you'll be able to compare it against other players around the world. So there are technically achievements, but it's on the stupid phone app. And, other games that Nintendo makes, they have achievements built in, not all of them, of course, but some of them, like, Xenoblade X, which released recently on Switch, has achievements in it. Luigi's Mansion 3 is another one, but overall, they don't have like a system level thing of achievements. I don't understand why Nintendo is so against it. It really bugs me. I see some people say it's like against what they want gaming to be, because I think they gave a more an extended answer with this. I don't know if it was Bill or after the news came out, someone else in Nintendo said how they just don't like it because they want to focus on the game itself. They don't want to have an extra thing to encourage playtime. The game should do it in itself or something like that. I don't remember the exact wording, but it just bugs me because, one, you can turn the thing off, at least on PlayStation and Xbox, where they have trophies and achievements. You can turn off the notifications for them so you don't have to see them, I just don't understand why Nintendo is so against it. And also why so many people are fine with them not having achievements. They're fun to have, on PlayStation and Xbox. You could earn some stuff like, points to potentially buy something, or maybe it's just a cool recognition thing for your profile. Like either way, you earning something for like the achievements or trophies. And I think Nintendo could do the same thing to a further degree, because they kind of already done this already with the Nintendo Platinum points. You earn them by playing online for certain games or backing up the cloud data. But you don't have anything, for like, oh, jump 20 times in Mario Odyssey, like that would just be, I feel like way more value for Nintendo Platinum points, and also give more incentive to players, that really like achievements. There's people, myself included, that would prefer playing on other consoles because of the achievements they have. I love Vampire Survivors and how there's achievements, there's achievements in game as well. But most of the ones are for outside the game, like the system level, but the Switch doesn't have that. They just have the in-game ones, which is like, I just don't like the in-game achievements that a lot of the Switch games, and now probably Switch 2 games, are gonna have. Just because, like, again, I don't feel rewarded doing the achievements in game. You usually don't get anything besides a little check mark. At least if you're doing like the achievement out, like, in the system level, you're getting something, whether even if it's a minuscule, like points to buy something on Xbox, or you're working towards the platinum trophy to have it display on your profile on PlayStation. At least you're working towards something. Usually with game achievements, like in-game ones, you're not earning anything besides a check mark. It does really bugs me that Nintendo is still so behind this. This was one of my biggest hopes for the Switch 2, to have achievements, and they're not happening. Now that's not to say they won't happen in the future. I feel like they could do an update, but I'm not gonna bet money on it. But they could add it in the future. They added some stuff for the Switch 1. They added like the Nintendo Switch icon. They added the platinum points earning thing for, that I just mentioned, like midway through the generation. They could add like achievements midway through. That would be really cool. Again, I'm not going to bet money on it, but I would love that. And it's weird because I see some people say how, Nintendo kind of implemented some of the earliest achievements in the game, technically. I mean, Smash Melee, Kirby Air Ride, I believe, those two games, a lot of Sakurai games, they have like achievements, like the thing you do with the challenges and the hammer or whatever. Those are like some of the earliest known achievements in games. So to see that other companies took that further and Nintendo doesn't, it's just so mind-boggling to me. And again, I know there's people that don't like the achievements, but you could just turn it off. You don't have to pay it any mind. In fact, I just thought of this right now. The in-game achievements, I don't think you can turn them off. At least with a lot of games. In fact, they're more easy to notice compared to system level achievements where you could turn them off. So actually that's counterintuitive of what Nintendo's trying to do, now thinking about it. So yeah, overall this is just stupid. But yeah, going back to the main topic, overall it's nice for people like me to have it. It's just something nice, like it pops up if you do something, whether you're working towards it, like, yes, I finally did it. Or usually what happens is that you do something by accident and then you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. It's just a nice little dopamine boost, I guess you could say. And Nintendo not having it at all, not even being an option, it's just, oh my god, it still shows that Nintendo is behind the times in many ways, even though they're ahead of the times in certain ways as well. The Switch 2, there's been talks about how it's more powerful than people expected. Like, there's like even comparisons to the PS5, which I don't know if that's like fair, but it's pretty close to the PS5, probably like lesser than that, but it's still pretty close. Nintendo clearly is far more ahead, and also they try new things, and they, sometimes it fails, sometimes it works, but sometimes they're ahead of the curve, and sometimes they're still behind. And I guess the achievement thing is just another proof that it's still very much the case that, yeah, Nintendo in some ways they can be ahead of the game, but also they're behind in others. So yeah, honestly, I don't really have much else to say besides it sucks that Nintendo is not going to have achievements for Switch 2, at least not for a while. I'm hoping maybe they do an update in the future for it. But yeah, it's just so annoying, because the achievements, I love them so much on Xbox and PlayStation. And also Steam has achievements too. Nintendo's the only one that doesn't have them on a system level. And Like, come on, Nintendo. It's not that bad, you know. Oh, God. And also, not that bad for you guys that are against achievements. Like, come on, you could turn it off on those systems. Anyways, guys, that's gonna be it for me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, play some Xenoblade, and I'll catch you all next time for more. Peace. Bye, everyone.